Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Foley with Paladin Financial, and I have with me today a guest. This is Martin.
Huge get.
Martin.
Martin is a huge get.
Martin the Martian. Get that?
I get it.
I just
Yeah.
came up with that.
You
as
came
you
up
might tell.
all by yourself?
All by myself.
The entire Paladin team didn't have to have a meeting?
No.
You just threw that one out there?
The other alien in the room is, if you're a follower of the show, Mr. Tony Shore, our co-host. So
yes. Yeah, there's some similarities.
Yes.
I thought I assumed it was a family member.
Yeah.
When I saw you
walking by your window here, wondering what is going on here. So, yeah. Welcome everyone. Today is Halloween, so
happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, we're recording this on Halloween.
Yes. Yeah, very excited about that. So, of course, the weather has been beautiful up until Halloween, when parents run out in the neighborhood with their children, and then snow and sleet, and get our first snow. It seems like the first snow often happens on Halloween.
Right. It does, doesn't it? It is snowing to beat the band. As we look out the window of our studio here, it's really coming down.
It's just wrong.
It is wrong. And I don't know. I went over to the IT department here in our building and tried to blame them for the snow.
Yeah.
Usually when something goes wrong, can't we blame the IT department? I like
it's a safe bet. Safe bet.
I'm like, is this your fault that it's snowing right now? But yeah. Okay, so you've brought an alien to the show.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. Could this episode be any weirder?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I consider that a challenge.
It is a challenge.
It reminds me. Have you heard about the new corduroy pillows, Tony?
The corduroy pillows? No.
Yeah, they're really making headlines.
Lines, get it? In your, if you lay on a corduroy. My side hurts from the laughter. It just wow, Jeff.
Moving on.
I don't know. I should have had. I think we have a sound effect for that. Honestly. Oh yeah. There it is. There it
Deserved. But yeah, this week we're going to talk about our financial advisor's worth it, as I stand here with an inflatable doll. And question we often get, either directly or indirectly, is, why should I hire you? What value are you going to bring to myself and my family? And we're going to dig in here this week on Halloween about that. And I'd say the short answer is it depends.
Sure.
So if you're using a financial advisor and you're compensating them in some way, which there are different ways to go about doing that, you're paying something for that service. I would liken this to the treadmill that might be sitting in some people's homes that they bought, and they get everything set up just so, and now it's holding clothes or
it's a clothes rack.
Dust. Yeah.
So, it's a very expensive clothes rack.
Yeah. So you don't want to pay for something and not actually use it. So in the context of us helping our clients, we want to make sure that we have a good process, we're adding value, and our clients are engaging and taking our advice. Otherwise, why are we doing this? That doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything your financial advisor recommends to you, and you want to have options and know the trade-offs, but there should be a pattern of, hey, this is a good fit, and I'm buying into what they're recommending to me over time. Otherwise, you're paying for something that you don't need. You're not taking advantage of that. So that's an important one for a lot of people that do work with advisors. And they come in for a second opinion. That's a common thing that I see, is that they're not following recommendations, or not getting value maybe out of that process. So keep that in mind. There's a big study. We've referenced this a couple times on the show. This has been a couple years back. Fidelity did a big study to determine what value an advisor brings to the table. I'm going to set you down, Martin, here. What value an advisor brings to the table for the average consumer. And their study, their math said it's about 3%.
Yeah. And that's on the investment side, I think, mainly. Like with your retirement accounts, how much difference is it going to make in your retirement accounts overall by using an advisor? And they came up with 3%. And
out of that 3%, half of it was related to investment return related component. The other half was behavior and taxes and some of the other things that.
But I think it's even higher if you calculate in costly mistakes that a lot of people could make if they didn't have an advisor. It could be much higher. I mean, you could make a mistake and file for Social Security at the wrong time, and it could be tens of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars over the course of your lifetime.
We do a lot of workshops in the Twin Cities areas, as you know, and one of the things we talk about in Social Security planning is an example of that. As we walk through an example, a couple that is in their early 60s and they have $500,000 in IRA money that they've saved up, and comparing them filing as quick as they can versus an optimized situation. The math over a 20-year retirement, it's about a $200,000, $240,000 difference in lost IRA money and overpayment in taxes. And that's, to your point, that has a significant impact on things long term.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah.
So it's always a difficult question for us to answer to a degree, because we can't prove it and say, here's what I'm going to do for you as a fact, because we can't guarantee things like that the way our industry is regulated. So looking at things like that Fidelity Advisor Alpha study, I think, is important. But just digging in with, if you have an advisor or if you're kicking the tires to potentially work with one, asking some good questions about the value that they bring to the table for you. And a lot of that isn't necessarily something you can monetize and put a dollar sign behind it.
Right.
But there's also a lot of emotional benefits to going along with that as well.
To me, it's the mistakes that I can avoid, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what I don't know. I would not know, and I do know some of the things I don't know, like Roth IRAs. I wouldn't know if it's right. How will you know, without working with a trusted financial professional, whether an annuity, a Roth IRA is right? Should I leave my money in my 401k? Should I roll it to an IRA? Should I have some in annuities? Should I stick it all in this stock portfolio? Should I be more diversified? When should I start getting more conservative and taking out of the market?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do any of those things without a financial advisor on my own, at least not confidently.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I could make guesses or read I could watch a YouTube video, but I wouldn't trust that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Example that I just walked out of a review meeting with one of our clients, a couple, and he's retiring this coming April, and they're worried about an election. If you haven't heard, there's an election coming up here.
Come on.
So they're worried about the election and what might happen with the market,
Mhm.
and what should we do? And Jeff, what are you doing? And some of those questions that come up, and we can't predict what the market's going to do. No one can. And if you're trying to time things, you've got to time when to get out of the market, but you also have to time when to get back in. And if people are emotionally responding to things, they're pulling out because they're worried about something, that's also the same person that's going to wait until the markets come back up before they get back in, and they missed out on the growth. So having a good, solid, steady plan can have significant financial impact, but it's also a lot less stressful not trying to read the tea leaves and worry about every headline that's going on out there. If you've got a good plan in place and you're taking the right amount of risk, you're going to come out okay.
Right. And a lot of it has to do with what type of financial professional you're talking to. And we've done other shows, and some of the other Paladin team members have done shows about this, but you want to make sure you're working with somebody who's going to look out for your best interests and isn't just trying to sell you a product or try to be a broker for your money, but really look at what you have and where you're at and what you need to have a successful retirement, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in navigating all of this. And like you said, you're worried about what do you not know. And some people are really good do-it-yourselfers, where they're okay investing a lot of time in things like this and reading and going to events and so forth. And that's their jam. And that kind of person, yes, I think could benefit from still working with an advisor, but a lot of them choose not to.
Sure.
But we have a number of do-it-yourselfer clients where we have a planning fee relationship. They're handling their investments. We give them advice to make sure they're not making big mistakes, and tax items and so forth to look at. But for most people, they don't have a passion for these things. And I like to tell our clients that you retire once, we retire many. This is our full-time job. Imagine if you're retiring, multiple times a year, you'd get pretty darn good at it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you
That's
go through the process each and every day, every
yeah,
week with people.
yeah.
And so this is what you do. And I think that's huge. And there are a lot of bumps. I mean, things constantly change. The tax laws, the rules around retirement accounts,
Mhm.
they're constantly being adjusted. Changes are constantly happening with the
Yeah.
like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the Secure Act. And I'm just glad that I have you and that we have a trusted financial professional to stay on top of those changes,
Mhm.
right?
What's changing? No, okay.
He's
I kid,
kidding.
I kid.
He kids. But yeah, uh-oh.
Oh, no, a button.
There you go. Yeah, a button. Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, I would not, yeah, I don't have to worry about it. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the one thing I think the question is a financial advisor worth it? For me and my wife, Jeff, it is because I don't have to worry about it. Somebody else, I can sleep well at night. It's the
yeah,
SWAN plan, SWAN, sleep well at
yeah.
night. And I like that.
That's good. Good. Yeah, and there's a lot of non-financial benefits. We touched on a couple of those, but working with a good financial advisor reduces complexity because you have all these inputs and moving parts. You can save a lot of time by not having to navigate and sort through all of that information. Be decisive in the actions that you take and not having to look over your shoulder and worry about what did I miss out on. Those are significant ones. Confidence that goes along with that is, we see some people that are stepping into retirement and they're scared as hell because they don't know, am I going to be okay or not? And seeing them come through the other end of our process and they feel good about it and confident, now they can focus on more important things. I love to see that. So
Yeah.
that confidence is a big one. That takes some stress off your shoulders, and that can be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it can be a huge thing. And I just think that's great. And it really does help take the stress off, like the SWAN plan. You want to sleep well at night knowing you have a plan in place. And that's
Mhm.
what working with a trusted financial professional like yourself can do for people.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of things that we get into to help add value. And again, it's hard to quantify some of this, but we look at our clients' financial plan, which includes their investments, their income sources, their risk, how much they're taking. Is that dialed in appropriately? We look at their tax plan. So we look at their income taxes each year to make sure we know what is projected for income, and then that can help us make decisions on Roth conversions or contributions into different accounts. Or I had a client that called up late last week and he wants to buy a new pickup, and where do I pull that money from to do that? And based on his situation, we navigate, here's the best solution for you, and send them the money when the time is there. So
Yeah.
a lot of questions that come up. But you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. When I sit down with a client, we're doing a review meeting, and they tell me, "Hey, I did X, Y, Z, and it was a big financial decision, and they didn't call me beforehand to talk through that." There's sometimes some missed opportunities that come up there. So make sure that you're calling and asking questions before you make a big decision.
That's really good. And again, it'll reduce stress. I think that's a big key
Hmm.
of why you would want to work with an advisor and knowing where to take that money from. You alluded to that with the pickup truck. I mean, obviously, if I want a new vehicle, I know I want the money to come out of your personal account, Jeff. I
Absolutely.
mean, that's
Yep.
where that should
Why
come
not?
from. You
Yeah.
should cover that. But seriously, especially once you're in retirement, where you pull money from and when you pull it out of an account, that's huge. I
Yep.
mean, that can make or break your retirement right there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to make the decision. I might take money out of the wrong account at the wrong time and get myself into a bad tax situation. Or I could have saved a lot of money by taking it from somewhere else and letting that other money grow, right?
Yep.
Those are scenarios that come up.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of moving parts that go into that. And if you're evaluating working with a financial advisor, or if you have one and you're looking for a second opinion on things, we have a great tool that we can send out to you. It's 17 different questions to ask a financial advisor to help arm you with some good questions and understand how they approach things. And yet for each of those 17 questions, we also answer, here's how we would answer that question. So I encourage you to, if you're interested in that, send us an email at info@paladinfinancial.com and say, please send me the questions to ask a potential advisor, or we'll have this in the show notes. You can click on the link and download that. But again, questions to ask a potential financial advisor, you can email info@paladinfinancial.com, and we'd be glad to send that out to you and give you some good ideas to think about.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things on the list of why financial advisors are worth it are the dad jokes. And I just think that those are great.
Yes.
I think that's a huge benefit, but I don't think that's with all financial advisors.
No,
I think that's
a specialty.
That might be a specialty of, I'm not going to name names, Jeff Foley, but I know a trusted fiduciary who's going to look out for your best interests, but he will also tell you dad jokes.
Yes. The queen of dad jokes, though, in our office is Alyssa. So for our clients that know Alyssa, she every other day she's got a new dad joke. So
really?
Her delivery is really good.
Yeah, she is funny. I haven't heard her tell a lot of dad jokes, but I know she's got good delivery.
Yeah.
She's got the good comic timing. Well, you have a great staff just regardless.
Thank you. Thank you. We do. We're very, very blessed. Great team.
Yeah.
So we're Men in Black today. So you have to check out our
You dressed up as Men in Black,
stuff.
Hence the alien. Let's see the alien, your sidekick.
So I didn't bring I have a full inflatable alien suit that scrapes the ceiling, and this is the main.
It would have been a bit much for the show. You were thinking about wearing it, but it would be hard to discuss this. Why? Why do I need a financial advisor? And why is he dressed as an alien in a giant inflatable alien costume?
The team suggested I record today with that on, and I had to push back on that.
You had to push back.
Plus, I like to breathe, so there's that.
Yeah. Some of the personal suggestions from the team. The team is very knowledgeable when it comes to helping your clients, but the personal suggestions that they give to you personally.
Yeah. Jeff, try this food. No.
Yeah, that's where you got to watch out with that crew. Especially, I'm going to name names, Jeff Quick, but I would not take his advice on the food front. All right. Well, hey, great show today. It's an important question. Are financial advisors worth it? I think we covered a lot of reasons why the answer is yes, but you need to figure that out for yourself. And to do that, make sure you give Paladin a call. Give that number one more time before we go.
Yeah, 651-842-8406. Again, 651-842-8406. And if you want that list of questions to ask a potential advisor, email us at info@paladinfinancial.com. Or again, that will be in the show notes. And if I could ask a favor for you, if you watch the show, you listen to the show, please take a moment in whatever podcast app you're listening to give the show a rating. We truly appreciate that. It gives us the opportunity to have the show exposed to more people. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Go on Google or wherever you get the podcast and give us an honest 5-star review, as Jeff likes to say. All right. Thanks. And that does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk.